Colonel, before I start with my questions, let's just clarify your experience and qualifications. You testified about your experience, and if I took my notes correctly, you'll correct me if I'm wrong. You are more than 30 years, you have more than 30 years experience, am I correct?
Yes, my lord.
Maybe to be precise, how many years of experience?
36 years.
36.
36.
And in the service or in the experience of 36 years, working experience in the SAPS, we have only dealt with 4 pointing out. Am I correct?
Yes, my lord.
36, I'm pointing out and went to the 4.
Including this one that you are dealing with.
My lord, this one is number 5.
Number 5. Okay. Before you were employed in the SAPS, or during the period when you were employed by the SAPS, did you attend any qualifications?
Is it external qualifications or internal?
And it can be external, it can be internal, any qualifications,
I attended
if there is any.
courses within the SAPS, which is on investigations mostly.
Ngenzeke ama courses ngaphakathi ke emaphoyiseni agcwele kakhulu ke noma ke amayela ke nophenya.
Okay. Other than internal courses, there is no qualification from any qualified academic institution.
No, my lord.
Ngaphandle kwalawo ma courses ke awekho ayikho ke la engeke ngathi ke khona ke kwi noma ke ngathi ke enyuvesi la ngithole amanye khona ke ama qualifications.
Okay. And I also take it for granted that when you were employed by the SAPS, you had matric.
That's true, my lord.
Nokuthi ke uma sengiqala ke ukusebenza emaphoyiseni ngangino matric.
Okay. Do you have any experience under the detective section, detective unit?
Yes, my lord. I've worked in the detective environment all my service.
Ukuthi ke sonke ke isikhathi lesi ngisebenza ke emaphoyiseni ngisebenza ke kule hlangothi ke noma labaphenyi noma lama detectives abasearch.
Okay, thank you. You testified, Mr. Hadebe, that you were called by Colonel Gininda.
That's true, my lord.
Shilo ukuthi umuntu owangicela ke noma wangishayela ucingo uKenneth Gininda.
And what did he say to you when he called you? Oh, sorry.
He asked me if I can assist him with pointing out on one of his cases.
Wangicela noma wangibuza ukuthi ngamsilekelela ngamsiza yini pointing out kwelinye lamacala akhe.
Okay. Wherein he was the investigating officer.
That's true, man.
La khona ke kwakuyena owayephenya.
Okay. So, Colonel Gininda, you agree with me that when he called you, he is the person who was privy with the facts of the case. Am I correct?
That's correct, my lord.
Uma ke engifonela uyena owayenolwazi ke mayelana necala.
And you were not requested by an independent person who did not have any knowledge about this case. Am I correct?
That's true, my lord.
Angicelwanga umuntu ke owesecelwa ngaphandle ke owayengenalo ulwazi mayelana necase.
And in the absence of the conversation between yourself and Colonel Gininda in this form, we do not know what Gininda said to you when he was asking you to conduct the pointing out.
That's true, my lord.
Beqiniso ke ukuthi lokho ke ngakhulunywa ke yimina noGininda kuba ke kungekho lana anikwazi ke ukuthi yini kahle kahle esakhuluma ngayo.
Okay. You testified that when you arrived at the station, you booked out the suspect which is Mr. Sibiya. Am I correct?
Yes, my lord.
Shiloko ukuthi bangifika lapho ngaye ngamkhipha ke kuma cell uSibiya.
Can you tell me the process and the procedure of booking out a suspect by a peace officer who is coming to take down the statement at the station? Besides including the police who refused and did what, but what is the procedure?
My lord, the procedure is the person will be brought to my office or an office that I had requested to use, and I will then start with the interview. He will be, somebody will sign for him, bring him to my office.
Inqubo ke uma uzothatha ke umuntu ukuthi uzolethwa ke kumina kuleyo office engizobe ngiyicelile ke kunomuntu ozomsayindela amletheke bese ngiyaqala ke mina naye.
And is it correct that immediately when you arrived you'll go to the CSC, to the people who are in control of the custody of that inmate?
That's true, my lord.
Ukuthi uma ufika ke uyakhona ke la avalelwe noma agcinwe khona ke.
And it will not be your duty to go and book out the suspect. You'll go to the office or to the place wherein you'll be taking down the statement. And the duty to book out the suspect is the duty of the members who are in control of that person. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Nokuthi ke akusona ke okwami ukuthi ngihambe mina ngiyomkhipha kwami ukuthi ngiye kulelo office engilinikiwe bona ke bazomletha.
And in this case that never happened. Am I correct?
That's correct, my lord.
Nokuthi lana ke akwenzekanga lokho.
Okay. That's number one. Okay. Number two, when you decided to go to the cells, you told this court that you found the members of EMPD. What is that?
Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department.
Ngathola ke be EMPD Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department.
Okay, because I'm not familiar with this EMPD, can you just use Metro Police? Is that fine?
It's fine.
It's fine. Okay. What were these Metro Police doing in the cells?
They were just standing there, my lord. Hence I said they were guarding him.
Babemile nje lapho ke labo be Metro Police ingakho ngishilo ukuthi babegadileke noma
Guarding
bebhekile.
who? They were guarding who?
Guarding Mr. Sibiya.
Babegade noma bebheke yena Mr. Sibiya.
Only? Or all the suspects who were in custody at that time?
He was the only one in that holding cell.
Oh,
Kwakuyena kuphela ke kuleso sele leso.
okay. Okay. Let's now explain this. The accused is in detention, is under the custody of the SAPS.
That's
Correct?
true, my lord.
Above being in custody of the SAPS, on top of that, there were extra members of the Metro Police who were guarding him as well.
That's true, my lord.
Yebo ke kunjalo ukuthi waye ngaphansi kwamaphoyisa kodwa ngaphezulu kwalokho ke khona ke ne Metro Police.
And above that, he was handcuffed. Am I correct?
That's true, my lord.
Nokuthi ke wayifakwe nozankosi.
Okay. Do you agree with me that on its own, the mere presence of the Metro Police guarding him whilst in the police cells posed a threat to him?
I don't agree, my lord.
Okay. No, it's
Angivumi
fine.
ke ukuthi lokho nje kwaku nokuthi kuna Metro Police ukuthi kwaku ukumsabisa.
Okay. Do you also agree with me that when you booked out the accused from the cells, he had no choice? Did you ask him? Did you ask his consent to take him out from the cells, or you just instructed him?
I requested him to come with me.
Okay.
Ngamcela ukuthi eze noma ahambe nami.
Did he agree?
Yes.
Wavuma.
Okay. And where did you record that? That you requested the permission from the accused to book him out so that you can go to the office.
Nowhere in my statement.
Akubhalwanga lokho ku statement sami.
In your pocketbook, you had your pocketbook on that particular day.
I don't use a pocketbook.
Angiyisebenzisi pocketbook.
Are you exempted?
Yes.
Okay, why?
Because I'm a commissioned officer.
Ngenxa ke yesikhundla sami ke i-pocketbook angiyisebenzisa ngiphathi.
Did you record that in any diary of yours?
Yes, I have a diary,
Oh, okay.
but I don't remember recording it.
Nginayo ke diary kodwa ngikhumbuli ngikubhala ke
That
lokho
you
ukuthi
asked the
ngicela imvume.
accused for the permission to take him out from the custody, and he gave you permission, consent to that.
Yes, I did not record it.
Leko angizange ngikubhala ukuthi ngamcela wase nginikeza imvume.
You did not record that because you did not ask him consent.
I don't think that is the case, my lord. If you say to someone, ngicela siye kule office, and he agrees, he comes with you, I think that's a request, and he agrees. If it wasn't, he would have refused, which maybe he would now be making allegations that I forced him.
Yeah.
Angicabangi ke ukuthi kukanjalo ngoba ke uma ngabe ucela umuntu uthi let's go to the other office and the person agrees. Lokho ke kusho ke ukuthi ke umcelile uma kwakuukuthi ke wayenqabile ke lokho kwakuzoba ukumphoqa ke manje.
Yes. I'm asking this question because we are dealing with the issue of voluntariness here. If the accused voluntarily submitted yourself to you to go to that office in the first place.
Yes.
And there is nowhere wherein he gave consent to you.
That's true.
Akukho ke lana ke ukuthi impela wavuma ke akubhaliwe phansi.
Okay. Thank you. Let's move on. Before you book him out, or before you took him out of the holding cells where accused number 1 was, did you tell him the purpose of booking him out?
We discussed the purpose after we were sitting in the office.
Inhloso ke ukuthi ngimkhiphe laphana sazokhuluma ngayo uma sesihlezi phansi ke e-office.
Okay. What did you say to him?
I informed him that as I identified myself, I first asked his names, his address, and I then identified myself through my appointment certificate and informed him of the purpose that I'm there.
Ngambuza ke imininingwane yakhe nala ahlala khona ngase ke nami ngiyayichaza ke futhi ke ngamtshengisa ke certificate sami somsebenzi ngase ngimtshela ke nenhloso ukuthi ngibe lapha.
Let's unpack the purpose. What did you explain to him?
I explained that I came to take a statement as he had arranged with the investigating officer.
Ngamtshela ke ukuthi ngizileke ukuthi ngizothatha istatement nanje ngoba yena ke bese bekhulumisene ke nomseshi noma umphenyi wecala.
Okay. Do you know the constitutional rights in terms of section 35 of the Constitution, which says the accused or detained person must be informed of the allegations against him?
Yes, my lord.
Ngiyamazi ke section 35 la asho khona ke ukuthi kufanele aziswe noma atshelwe ke ngeinsolo azithweswayo.
Did you explain to the accused the allegations against him at that particular time?
I don't see how someone who's been requested to conduct a pointing out can explain the allegations against the accused if he does not form part of the investigating team.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, my lord. Can I rephrase, my lord? And furthermore, in your form, you said, I think it's on page 2 or paragraph 3, but the second page. The said was asked. I don't know what the said is. I thought it was the allegations. The said was asked whether was informed of the reason of his or her arrest as prescribed by section 35 of Act 108 of 1996. It's on the second page, my lord. It's written, it starts with paragraph 3. Second page of the pro forma, the first line, my lord, at the top. The said was asked whether he was informed of the reason for his or her arrest as prescribed by section 35 of Act 108 of section of Act 1996. Hence, I'm asking if you explained the allegations against the accused in terms of what is contained in this pro forma.
Hence, my lord, I wrote his response that he was informed.
Ingakho ke la ngibhale impendulo yakhe ngoba umbuzo uthi ke wase ebuzwa ke ukuthi uyatshelwa yini mayelana nesizathu sokuboshwa kwakhe nanjengokusho kwakhe ku section 35 ingakho ke ngabhala impendulo lokho angitshela kona mina.
Yeah, what is it that was explained to him? That's what I want to know. Because the form says the said was explained. What is it that you explained? Was it the allegations? What is it that you explained? Because the duty was for him to be explained of his allegations if we're talking about the constitutional rights in terms of section 35.
The rights, according to me, were explained during the arrest. He was informed during the arrest. And when he decided to do a pointing out, he was informed also.
Okay.
Hence, my answer here is yes, I was informed.
Lana ke ama rights enkhuluma noma ke amalungelo enkhuluma ngawo ukuthi inkathi ke eboshwa etshelwa ke ngamalungelo akheke nokuthi uboshelweniki ingakho ke futhi nangesikhathi ke sithatha isinqumo sokuthi uzokwenza pointing out wasetshelwa futhi ingakho la ngabhala impendulo yakhe.
Okay, let's forget about the arrest because you were not involved. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes. Let's stick to this form. I want the explanation. I want to understand this sentence which says the said was asked whether she was informed of the reasons. You understand that sentence?
It also continues going down,
Okay.
where it says the said person is informed. Now he gets informed by me of his rights.
Futhi ke the sentence isiyaqhubeka ke manje ayipheli lapho ke ufunda khona ukuthi manje ke umuntu lona usetshelwa yimina ke ngamalungelo akhe.
Okay. So, in other words, do we agree that you never informed the accused of the allegations against him? Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Ukuthi insolo wayebhekene nazo ziyini mina angizange ngimtshele.
And the response that the accused gave was that, yes, I was informed, I was arrested for drug dealing.
Yes.
Waphendula ke wathi yebo ngatshelwa ngaboshelwa ke idakamizwa.
So it means the accused, when you were busy with him at this time, when you were doing this interview, he was under the impression that he was dealing with the arrest of dealing with drugs.
No.
Okay?
He was informed of his arrest. But he was in custody on a drug dealing case.
Watshelwa ke ngezathu
Hence I said I was arrested for a drug dealing.
Colonel, let's speak like Colonel now. There's
Yes.
a difference between allegations and arrest. Those are two different things. I'm
Initially-
not asking about arrest, I'm asking about the allegations.
Okay.
I'm saying now, since the accused gave this answer, he's saying, I was arrested for drug dealing. It means the accused understood the allegations against him to be that of drug dealing. Am I correct?
No.
Akusikuthi ke yena ke wayecabanga ukuthi ke yena ke uboshelwe noma ke insolo ilezi ke iphathelene nedakamizwa.
You can tell me. That's why I wanted it to come from you. That's why I started by explaining, by asking from you, what is it exactly that was explained to him before he responded to this? Because there is no matter here.
Can we read this?
You can read
said
it.
person?
No problem. You can read it, Kenneth.
The said person was asked whether he was informed of the reasons for his arrest
Yes.
as prescribed in section 35.
Yes. And the answer was
So
yes.
his arrest,
Okay. Yes.
yes, I was informed of my arrest.
Yes.
I am also in custody on a drug dealing case.
Yes.
Yes.
Lana ke uma ifunda lena ke ithi use ebuzwa ke noma wasebuzwa ke ukuthi watshelwa yini ukuthi uboshelweni noma izathu wathi yebo ngatshelwa waseqhubeka futhi ke ukuthi ngiboshiwe futhi noma ke ngivalelwe futhi ngivalelwe icala ledakamizwa.
Yes. So that's why, hence I'm saying that from this response that was given by the accused, it means he was under the impression, he knew that he was under the arrest for this drug dealing. He never said, I'm under the arrest of murder, I'm under the arrest of pointing. I just said, yes, I know the reason. I'm under the arrest of drug dealing.
The arrest of drug dealing was at secondary, my lord.
Okay.
Yes.
Did at any stage tell you that he was under the arrest of murder?
No.
Akaze angitsheleke ukuthi
So
waboshelwa
why
ke
do you say this is
ukubulala.
secondary?
because of the answer he gave.
ukuthi ke ngithi ke lena yeyidakamizwa impendulo yesibili ngoba ngenxa yempendulo ayinikeza.
Let's leave it for argument. Did you understand this form on your own? You
Yes.
person? Okay. Let's see if you and how far you understood. Let's go further. The third person was informed of the right to remain silent. You see that, right?
Yes.
Ngiyabona la chazwa khona ukuthi wasetshelwa ngelungelo lokuthula.
Yes. What did you say to the accused?
I read it as it is to him.
Yeah, what
Ngayifunda
did you
kuyena
say?
ngale
You
ndlela.
interpreted. I need the interpretation then you
Oh,
said.
unelungelo lokuthula.
Yes.
You've got the right to remain silent.
What did the accused say?
I continued. I read. I did not go one per answer. I continued with all the rights, and he gave an answer.
I then mina ke engakwenza ko hayi ukuthi ngafunda ilungelo elilodwa ngaqhubeka ngawo onke wasike egcinene enikeza ngempendulo.
When you explain to the accused, this is a constitutional right, Kenneth.
Yes.
When you said to a person, you are being informed of the right to remain silent, and you should have expected to get a response from the accused, whether he elects to remain silent or he elects to not to remain silent. Am I correct?
Maybe that is your interpretation.
Mhlambe ke indlela wena ke izwa ngayo le ukuthi uma ngithi ke nelungelo lokuthula kufanele ngimeke ngimlindeleke ukuthi anginikeze impendulo.
Okay, let me put it like this. In paragraph 1, when you inform the accused of the right to remain silent, there is no election which came from the accused recorded under paragraph 1.
That's true. Hence I said I continued with all the rights.
Ingakho
Don't
ngithi
rush.
ke ngaqhubeka ke ngawo onke amalungelo ngoba ke akukho akukhethileke ukuthi manje ngikhethe ukuthi ngithi.
There is no election. Let's go to number 2.
Yes.
He was informed that he has the right to remain silent and of the consequences if he does not remain silent.
Yes.
Wasetshelwa ke ukuthi futhi unelungelo ke lokuthula ke noma uma kuukuthi ke ukhetha ukuthi angathuli nemiphumela ke yalokho.
What was the election or response of the accused when you explained that right? It's a second right now.
The
Right to
response
remain?
is written down at the end of whether he understands.
Impendulo ke iyakhe ukuthi wathini ke ibhalwe ke egcineni ke ukuthi ngabe uyezwa yini.
And this right that you read to the accused, which is contained in paragraph 2, is incomplete, it's vague, and does not make sense. Why I'm saying that? It's because it should have said this from the Constitution. He was informed that he has the right to remain silent and of the consequences of making an admission or confession or pointing out. In other words, when you were explaining this right to the accused, you ought to have explained to him that he has the right to remain silent and of the consequences of making a pointing out. Not to say if he does not remain silent. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yes. Do you see that right is vague? It does not precisely speak to the consequences of making a pointing out. To say you must know of the consequences of making a pointing out. It just says if he does not remain silent.
Yes.
As a
Yes.
court, please, my lord, I'm sorry. I think counsel is just selecting one portion in the document and reading it in isolation. One will have to read the whole document. For instance, if one looks at paragraph 4, it just sets out precisely what the consequences of making a pointing out is, my lord.
Thank you, my lord. Should I proceed, my lord?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. I see what the stage is coming to paragraph 4. But before we go to paragraph 4, we cannot jump paragraph 3 because you explain paragraph 3 to the accused. You did not jump paragraph 3. You explained and interpreted paragraph 3. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Yes.
Paragraph 3 ke naye ka ngimdlulanga ngamchazela ke umsola ngayo paragraph 3 noma lokho okulaphayana.
And you did not inform the accused that you are explaining these rights briefly because at a later stage you'll be explaining them. Am I correct?
No.
Yes.
Nokuthi ke angimchazela ngithi yabona lana ngichazela kafushane ke ngisezowachaza ke kahle ke lama rights mase siqhubeka.
Okay. So my submission, or what I'm saying to you, is that he was not informed exactly of the consequences. That's what I'm putting to you.
My Lord, my answer is I informed him.
Mina ke ngamtshela ke ngayo imiphumela nanjengoba uthi lana wena ke akazange achazele ngemiphumela ukuthi kuzokwenzekani.
Okay. Let's go to the third paragraph. He was also warned that he was not obliged to make any confession or admission that might be later be used against him. Where?
In court.
Lana ke kubhaliwe ukuthi wasexwayiswa ke ukuthi akaphoqelekile ukuthi ke avumeke nokuthi ke futhi lokho ke kungathi kusetshenziswa ke kamuva.
Did you say to him in court that you must know that if you choose to make a pointing out now, that pointing out might be used against you later in court, as we are explaining to now, because it's not here?
Yes, it is not here.
Okay.
Kuyiqiniso ukuthi lana kubhalwanga ukuthi izosetshenziswa ngakwena enkantolo akukho la.
Okay. So it means the accused was not told that what he is going to do will be used later to him in court, against him in court.
Yes, the word court was not mentioned.
Okay.
Igama ke lithi inkantolo lona ke alizange lifakweke.
Okay. Number 4, he was.
You know, once again, we coming back to the same point. One cannot see these things in isolation. This fact is once again explained in paragraph 4 that whatever he points out might be later used as evidence during a subsequent trial. I don't think one can look at, for instance, paragraph 3 as counsel is saying and then ignore. It's about the totality of the explanation that was given to the accused.
My Lord, I think counsel can raise that when we are making submissions, my Lord. But I think for the purpose of cross-examination, I'm entitled to cross-examine on the content, my Lord, of paragraph 3.
Yeah, fine, yeah.
Thank you.
And even Mr. Baloyi is also entitled to intervene if he thinks it's justifiable. Like he says, this document, you read it holistically.
Yes.
And he says you don't have to take sentence by sentence, paragraph by paragraph. It's a holistic document which encapsulates all the rights according to...
Which I disagree with that.
No, wait. According to the state, which were supposedly told to the accused, Mr. Sibiya.
Thank you, my Lord. And which I beg to differ, my Lord, because what I'm trying to establish is what was in the mind of the accused as you were going down with the interview. What was explained to the accused as you were going down with the interview, whether it was explained properly or not. Those are my submissions. Let's move on to paragraph 4. You see paragraph 4?
Yes.
It says he was also warned that he has the right to consult with a legal representative of his or her choice. And if he cannot afford the services of such a legal representative can be appointed by the state. This is a right to legal representation.
Yes.
Lana ke ilungelo leli eliphathelene nommeli ethi wasexwayiswa ke ukuthi unelungelo lokuthi akhulumisane ke nommeli oqoke noma okhethwe uyena uma kuukuthi ke angeke akwazi ukuthi amkhokhele loyo mmeli leyo umbuso ke ungamsiza ke noma umlekeleleke ukuthi athole ummeli.
If this right was explained to the accused, what was his election? To proceed on his own, to appoint a legal representative appointed by the state, or to get a lawyer of his own choice.
My Lord, this
comes with 3
election
choices.
is mentioned on just after paragraph 5.
Ukuthi wakhetha ukuthini ke lokho ke kubekiwe noma kuchaziwe ke emuva nje noma ngezansi nje ko paragraph 5.
Yeah, It says, do you understand the warning I have given to you? It says, yes, I understand. Are you referring to that?
Yes.
Yes. It does not tell the choice that was made by the accused, whether he wanted to conduct his own defense.
As you go down, it will show you that he still wants to confess.
Uma uhlake lapho uya enzansi lapho izokuba inkomba ke kuwena ke ukuthi kwabuye isifiso sakhe sokuthi aqhubeke.
Colonel, listen to you. Well, this paragraph 4 has got 3 choices. It says, you've got the right to be legally represented. Which choice or which election of right was chosen by the accused? To proceed himself in his own defense as you were proceeding with pointing out? Or he asked you that, no, I need a lawyer of my choice? Or he said, I want the state lawyer to be appointed on my behalf?
My Lord, the answer is holistic. He gave one answer to all those rights that were explained to him. He did not give them one as counsel is asking.
Ngalendlela ke ummeli abuza ngayo yena akazange aphendule ngayo wanikeza ke ngempendulo eyodwa ehlanganisa ke konke lokhu awayekubuzwa noma ekutshelwa.
And it shows that this right was not explained to the accused. Because even now we are failing to understand the content of this right. The answer you are referring to, it says, yes, I understand. I understand what? Because it's supposed to indicate whether he wishes to conduct his own defense or he wishes an attorney to be appointed on his behalf. I understand what?
My right.
Amalungelo ami ngiyawezwa.
The reason why you wrote this answer, it's because it never came from the accused.
It did, my Lord.
Ngibhale ngoba yayiphuma kuyena ke lempendulo.
And I am saying to you, the constitutional rights of the accused, as I have unpacked them to you, were not properly explained to him in the manner that he understood his rights and his choices that he had at that time before you continued.
I'm convinced that he understood all of those rights.
Mina ke ngizothi ke amalungelo lawo wawezwa noma wawazwisisa onke futhi.
Unfortunately, the form does not contain those rights, but let's proceed. To paragraph 4, the said person is informed that he is in the presence of the justice. Okay? She is warned, is not compelled to point out any and or points any sin or to say anything about the sin. The said person is further warned that she may point out or may say will be noted down. What is that? Can you read it for me?
The said person is further warned that what he may point out or say will be noted down, and photographs of the scene and or points pointed out will be taken and may later be used as evidence during a subsequent trial.
Wase etshelwa ke ukuthi ke manje ke ungaphambi ke kwalo ubizwa ukuthi justice of the peace futhi ke uyiphoyisa nokuthi ke wase exwayiswa ke ukuthi akaphoqelekile ukuthi akhombe lutho noma nayiphi indawo noma ama points nokuthi asho lutho amayela namasini noma indawo yegameko. Wase futhi exwayiswa ke nokuthi lokho angathi akukhombe noma akusho kuzobhalwa phansi kuthwetshulwe izithombe zakho noma zalezo indawo lezo noma ama points bese futhi ke kubhalwa phansi futhi kamuva ke kungasetshenziswa uma sequlwa icala.
And then you say the said person is further warned that what he may point out or may say will be noted down. Did you note down what was pointed out by the accused?
Yes.
Lokho awakhomba ngakubhala phansi.
Okay. In the proforma that I'm using, I do not see.
Sorry, ma'am, that is done afterwards. Sergeant, sorry, Colonel, is that not so?
That's true, my Lord.
Yes,
Hence there
go
is a
through
statement
the proforma
attached.
first, and thereafter what he points out. Not when you're sitting in the office. He can't point out anything. Okay, that's how I understand it.
Okay. As the court is fine with that. It's fine, but I don't see it in this form. But let's continue with that. You testified that the accused is the one who gave.
Page 5, paragraph 12.
Page 5.
No, it's not what I'm asking.
I don't have page 5 here. Mr. Malui, do you have page 5 and page 6 for me?
Page 5.
I've got 1,
Pages.
3,
No, it's,
7,
I don't know where this is.
11. Okay, you'll replenish.
11, it's paragraph is page 5.
That's all. Okay, let's see. You say page 11, paragraph 5, I see.
Yes, it's got the details of the driver,
Yes.
and just below there, there's paragraph 12.
Okay. Where it says after conclusion of pointing out. I see. Okay,
Yes.
fine. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, but it's not what I was asking, my lord. Does not answer my question, what the council is referring to. Right. Paragraph, my lord, if I can just read it. The paragraph that the State Council is referring to, it says, after conclusion of the pointing out at the scenes and points, the notes are read to the person who pointed out and they are interpreted once again. It does not address my question.
Yeah, pose the question.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. You testified, or you testified that you did not record the directions given by the accused to the place where the pointing out was made, or to the place where you were going to. Do you still
Yes.
remember that?
Ngishilo ke ukuthi ama directions ayinikeza ngawo ke ukuya kuleyo ndawo awabhaliwe phansi.
And the directions, if there were any given by the accused, ought to have been recorded in this form. Am I correct?
Where in this form?
You could have used any page to record and attach it here. Because this is not a prescribed form, it's just a pro forma form. Where you can attach any documents just to give evidence of what transpired as the pointing out was conducted.
My lord, I gave evidence that he directed the driver and requested that at the entrance of Fosloras, which is an area that I don't know, he must be taken to.
And we don't see,
Nginikeze ubufakazi lana ke ngathi yena ke wachazela ke umshayeli ukuthi akahambe kanjani bese kuthi ke uma sekungenwa ke noma ku entrance yase Phosphorus ekuyindawo mina ke engazani nayo noma engayazi.
and what you are telling the court right now is also not contained here.
It is in my statement.
Kukhona lokho ku statement sami.
In the pro forma, is it there?
No.
Okay.
Akukho ku platform khona ku statement sami.
Okay, it's fine. And the reason why the directions, if there were any given by the accused, to say turn left, go this way, stop here, is not contained here because the accused never gave you any directions. You drove on your own to where you wanted.
As a quick please, Manot,
He didn't drive. He says there was a driver.
yes,
He says there was a driver.
yes,
Put it correctly to him.
yes.
Thank you, Madam. Can I just rephrase?
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, Council Malot. The council is putting this as a fact, and we know that accused number 1 has got his own legal representative. We want to know on what basis is council putting it as a fact if accused number 1 is not headlined.
My lord, the version was put by counsel for accused number 2 that he did not give directions to the witness. And that is not in conflict, my lord, with counsel for accused number 1. Can I proceed, ma'am?
Yes.
Oh, thank you, madam. Yes, do you have any response to that? Or should I rephrase, my lord? We were at the stage wherein the court said I should rephrase because he was not
Yes,
driving.
he says there was a driver.
Yes, the fact that you failed to record directions, if there were any given by the accused, it's because the accused never gave any directions to you to the place wherein the said pointing out was made.
He did, my lord.
Ukuthi ke ama directions awabhalanga ngoba yena akazange anikeze ngawo. Wanikeza uyena wesitshela ukuthi ke noma wayesho kumshayeli ukuthi akahambe kanjani.
It is nowhere recorded in this pro forma wherein the accused indicated that you must stop here now.
My lord, on the statements where he's pointing out, that is where we stop.
La ku statement la esekumanje kula akhomba khona ila esama khona.
And then the use of the interpreter during the interview.
There was no interpreter according to the kennel.
Yes, there was no interpreter.
Yes.
Yes. But I'm saying the use, my lord.
Oh, okay, fine.
Yes, the use of the interpreter, a sworn-in interpreter, would have given the accused an opportunity to be interpreted better of this document. If it was if the interpretation was done by a sworn-in and qualified interpreter.
That's not true, my lord.
Akusilona iqiniso ukuthi uma ke le form lena eselika utolika ke ofungisiwe ke futhi ke oseqopheleni ke lokuthi akwenze lokho ukuthi wayizoyizwa kangcono. Akusilona iqiniso lelo.
You are not a sworn-in interpreter, am I correct?
That's correct.
Angena
also
utolika
not a-
ofungisiwe
And also not a qualified interpreter.
That's correct.
nokuthi ke oqualified futhi kweqiniso lokho.
Let's go to page 1.
And in the SAPS, there are no employed qualified interpreters.
Futhi ke emaphoyiseni ke abekho otolika ke abaseqopheleni ke abasebenza khona.
But at least an independent person should have been used to do the interpretation in between, when you explain in English and the English be interpreted to the deponent.
I don't agree with it.
Angivumi ke ukuthi bakufanele ukuthi kuthobe umuntu ke ngaphandle ke owayezokwenza ke lokho noma enze leyo msebenzi.
Let me take you to this point just to show you that the accused did not understand the interpretation you gave to him. First page. My lord, I don't know what the number is here, but it's the last sentence of the first page wherein it says this, who interpreted from, and then present in my office and nobody else. You see that sentence?
Yes.
Yeah, but what I want to draw your attention to, it's when it says, I show him my appointment certificate and his reaction is as follows. You see that one?
Yes.
Yes. What's the response there?
I confirm.
Confirming what?
That you've been shown the appointment certificate.
Oh, you were confirming?
Yes.
Oh,
Lana
it's
ke
not the-
lana ke akushoyo ukuthi ke wayesevuma ke manje ukuthi ngempela ke ngimtshengisile i-certificate sami sokuthi ngiyiphoyisa
And that I'm a commissioned officer.
nokuthi ke ngiyi-officer ke commissioned.
No. Let's not mix issues in this sentence. I understand that you are the one who were showing the accused your appointment certificate, am I correct?
Yes.
Yes. So the reaction is that I confirm. Is confirming what?
I've said it.
Sengikushilo ukuthi
Confirming
yini le
that I've said.
wayeyivuma.
That I've showed him my appointment certificate.
Ukuthi wayeconfirm ukuthi noma ke evuma ukuthi i-certificate sami ngisikhiphile ngamtshengisa
But this answer
wayevuma.
does not make sense.
My lord, maybe it doesn't make sense to cancel. But in isiZulu, if someone says, ngiyavuma ngibonile appointment certificate yakho, and how do I rephrase it now differently for council to understand?
If uma umuntu esho lokho ke actually ukhene ngesizulu that I confirm that I did see your appointment certificate, ngingakusho kanjani ke noma ngingakushintsha kanjani?
It's fine. I will argue about that. Let's leave it.
Yes.
Now, when you were at the scene, it is your evidence that you were in the company of the Metropolis. I said Metropolis, this EMD police.
Metropolis.
Metropolis, yes. Why was it necessary Was the accused handcuffed?
Yes.
When you're driving to that area that you knew? Was the accused handcuffed?
Of the area that I knew.
Yes. Was the accused handcuffed?
I never knew that area.
Yeah, but was the accused handcuffed?
Yes, the accused was handcuffed.
wayefakiwe ozankosi masiya kuleyo ndawo futhi ke akusilona qiniso ukuthi kwakuyindawo engangiyazi.
In your experience, 30 years of experience, have you encountered any escape when a person was handcuffed and he was able to break the handcuff and escape?
Not me personally, but I've seen incidents where people have escaped in handcuffs.
Hayi ukuthi lokho kwake kwenzeka ke kumina ke kodwa sengike ngayibona ke izehlakalo la abantu beqa khona ke befakiwe ozankosi.
Okay. And you also informed this court that the Metro Police were around in the vicinity. Am I correct?
That's true, my lord.
Shiva ke nokuthi ke aba Metro Police babeseduze ke lapho.
Why in the vicinity? If they were guarding the suspect not to escape, because they were supposed to be with you.
The necessity of guarding is not only about escape.
Okay.
It's also about the safety of everybody who's involved there. That's my understanding of their presence, my lord.
Indlela ke mina ke ngikuzwisisa ngayo ukuba khona kwabo ke Metro Police ayi ukuthi nje kuphela kubheke ukuthi umuntu uzokweqa kodwa ke nokuvikeleka kwaye wonke umuntu okhona lapho.
But the problem here, this person, the accused, alleges, as per the instruction by his counsel, that he was assaulted by the police, including this Metro Police. And the same Metro Police are in the vicinity wherein the pointing out is conducted.
As a court case, if my memory serves me well, counsel for accused number 1 and 2 never said he was assaulted by Metro Police. He said by TRT members, not Metro Police.
Oh, may I just rephrase, my lord? By TRT police officers. In other words, with the point I'm trying to say to you, the accused had been assaulted by the police, whether it's SAPS, TRT, Metro Police. And those police, there are police also in the vicinity wherein he is conducting the pointing out.
That's true, my lord. And their presence, I don't think it was a threat to him.
Impela ke babekhona ke lapho ke beseduze futhi ke ukuba khona kwabo ke ama Metro Police angicabanga ukuthi lokho ke kwakumsabisa yena ke umsono.
But I'm putting it to you. You can respond if you want to. That
I have responded.
The presence of those police officers induced fear to the accused at that time when you were conducting the pointing out.
My comment is it didn't.
Mina ke ngithi ke ukuba khona kwabo ke lapho Metro Police kwakungamsabisi umsono.
When you were finished and taking the accused back to the station, did you book him back?
That's true, my lord.
Mase ngimbuyisela ke ngaphinda ke futhi ngayombhuka ke ukuthi ke manje sengiyambuyisela.
And this Metro Police were still there when you booked the suspect back?
When I booked him, I was alone in the CSC.
Uma ngimbhuka ke noma sengimbuyisela ngakuyimina ngedwa ke lapho eCSC.
When he was taken back to the cells?
I don't know who took him back to the cells because I booked him back and placed him in the holding cell that he was there and I left.
Mina ke ngambuyisela ke ngamshiya ke kusele leso ke awayekusona ngase ngimshiya lapho.
Thank you, my lord. I have no further questions.
Okay. Sir, any re-examination, Mr.
My lord,
Right, I see Mr. Ngomalo.
My lord, I don't know whether can I be granted an opportunity. I just have one question before the. I don't know what should be the. Should we continue or should I?
No, you can. Is it okay if he wants to ask your client before you ask first?
My lord, I think I should ask, start then if he wants to ask questions after me.
Is that so?
Because
Come on, let's hear you. I'll go this way. He wants us to go that way.
no, it's fine.
Yes, Mr. Numan.
I think, is it the direction of the court that he should start, or should I start?
No,
Or
as
should I
long
start?
as it's on the record, that's whatever you want to ask.
Colonel, you remember yesterday that I asked you about the notes, whether you did take notes during the pointing out. You said you did not take notes.
Yes.
Ngiyakhumbula ukungibuza ngama-notes izolo ngathi angizange ngiwathathe noma ngiwabhala ama-notes.
Do you also confirm, Colonel, that whatever you did on that day, which is the 5th of June 2020, you were guided by the form that you were using?
That's correct.
Futhi nayo yonke into engangiyenza ngalela langa-ke ngangihola yona-ke iform le engangiyisebenzisa.
I just want to get your view, Colonel, because I see that on page 5, you still have Exhibit GG. Page 5 says the following. Yeah, it's under paragraph 12 of page 5. Just at the bottom of page 5. Okay, it says the following. Preceding notes have been compiled by me in the presence of the said person during the interview and the pointing out of the scene and or point. You see what I was reading, Colonel?
Yes.
Where are the preceding notes?
It
That
is the
are-
form that I've completed.
Ama-notes la engikhuluma ngawo lana-ke iform lena-ke engangiyibhala.
Which form?
The very same Exhibit GG.
It
Sikhuluma
talks-
ngayo lo
It's
GG.
read to him and explained
Yeah,
to him.
it says the preceding notes. Where are the notes? It's
It is
this
this
the form.
form.
It's not a note. I mean the notes, the preceding notes.
It is the pro forma, my lord.
Lana-ke ngikhuluma mina-ke ngeform lena-ke.
By the notes, is it not meant that you are
Can you
to
leave
take?
that for arguments?
Oh, okay.
Otherwise you'll be here forever. Because he says those are the notes in the form. You can argue about it.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Kenneth. Thank you, my lord. I have no further questions.
Yes, Mr. Mngmezulu.
God pleases, my lord. Colonel, I've got a few questions that are emanating from what was examined by you, by counsel for accused number 5, and the statement that was disclosed yesterday, bearing the date of the 18th of June 2020, as well as the extract from the occurrence book.
Yes.
The first question that was asked, communication between yourself and Colonel Gininda.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes, my lord.
Ngiyakhumbula-ke ngibuzwa ngokukhuluma kwami no-Colonel Gininda.
And Colonel Gininda is, I believe, he will be the witness to come and testify and corroborate your evidence. Do you agree?
That's true, my lord.
Ukuthi-ke uzoza-ke uGininda abesezochasa-ke noma ezoqinisekisa-ke lokho ngokushoyo, yebo, uyiqinisa?
What you have discussed with Colonel Gininda was about accused number 1. Is that correct?
That's correct, my lord.
Esasikhulumisana ngako-ke no-Colonel Gininda kwakumayelana nomsolo wokuqala.
The sense of my question is, when it was communicated to you that, as per the request, Colonel Gininda must have informed you that Sibia wants to make a pointing out. Am I wrong?
That's
It's not a logic.
yes.
Ukukhulumeni kwethu ababili-ke kodwa angitshela-ke uKolonel Gininda ukuthi uSibiya-ke ufisa ukuyokwenza pointing out noma ukuyokhomba.
We are deliberating about this pointing out right now because of Sibia. Sibia says, according to the state, he wanted to make a confession, a pointing out. Is that so?
That's true.
ukuthi ke uSibiya ke ngokusho kombuso ke wayefuna ukuthi ayokhomba.
Was it communicated to you as to how did that information reached Gininda, Colonel Gininda? How did accused number 1, Sibiya, communicated that to the investigating officer Gininda? Was it that canvassed to you?
It wasn't, my lord, because he's the investigating officer. Whatever he discussed with Mr. Sibiya, it's what they discussed. I don't know about it. And it was not canvassed.
Akazange ke akhulume akusho kumina uGininda ke ukuthi kwenzeka kanjani ukuthi leyo information ifike kuyena ukuthi uSibiya ufuna ukukhomba ngoba uyena ophenye icala inkulumo yakhe ke noSibiya ke akayishongo kumina.
Sibiya, I'm putting to you that Sibiya is the source or the author of this deliberation at the moment, which is governed by section 2181 of the Criminal Procedure Act. Do you agree?
I agree.
Ukuthi ke manje ke uSibiya ke manje ngokusho noma ngale nkulumo ke uSibiya ke okushilo lokho noma kuphume kuyena.
If it was Sibiya's intention to make a pointing out, there must be a method within which or with which Sibiya could have communicated it to the investigating officer. Is that correct?
My lord, the investigating officer will be the one who can explain that.
Yes.
The method.
Ukuthi ke indlela kwenzeka kanjani ukuthi uSibiya akhulume noGininda mayelana nalodaba uyena ke uGininda ongakusho lokho.
My lord, at this moment I'm not going to buy that answer on the basis that if he can claim privilege that whatever that was discussed between him and Colonel Gininda, his privilege cannot be disclosed before this honorable court. Gininda has got his own questions to answer. I want you, because you are a party to the discussion about Sibiya.
Not as to how come did Sibiya decide, what happened that Sibiya decided to give a pointing out. I was requested to take a pointing out.
All right.
Ukuthi ke uSibiya noGininda bakhulume bathini noma kwenzeke kanjani ukuthi uSibiya ayokhuluma kuGininda lokho asizange sixoxe ke noGininda ukuthi nje ngacela ukuthi angiyokwenza ngilekelele ngepointing out.
But beside that evidence, the logic dictates that if a person who is in custody,
Whose logic?
the logic,
Whose
general,
logic? Whose logic?
I'll demonstrate that logic.
Yeah, I want to know who's,
May-
because we are dealing with 3 people. Sibiya, Gininda, and
The
Colonel
logic of an
Khaled.
experienced police officer.
Yeah, so put it like that. Because
Let
you
me
say
just
logic.
put it that way. It's a logic of an experienced officer like you that a person who is in custody can have certain ways to communicate with the investigating officer. One, among other things, personal communication. Do you agree?
That's incorrect.
Akusona ke iqiniso ukuthi manje ngephoyisa ke lomkantshubovu kufanele ngiyicabangeleke ukuthi kunendlela ezithize umuntu oboshiwe noma ke kuma cells angakhulumisana ke nephoyisa nokuthi babhekane ubuso ngobuso.
Let me just correct it. Let me just qualify what I put it to you so that you can correct me if I was wrong. If Colonel Gininda visited the suspect wherever he is kept, that is the personal encounter. Am I wrong?
Yes?
Uma kuwukuthi asithi ke uGininda waya la aboshwe noma avalele khona lapho ke ukukhulumisana kwabo ke bobabili bebhekene.
If at that time Sibiya intended to convey his intentions, he would have told Gininda or Colonel Gininda at that time that I want to make a confession, a pointing out. Do you agree?
Yes, I agree. Hence, Gininda must come and give evidence on that.
Ukuthi ke kwenzeka kanjani ke noma kwakuyinhloso ke yakhe uSibiya ukuthi akudlulise uGininda uGininda ozoza ke azokuchaza lokho.
Thank you. Let's move on. I beg your pardon, my lord, I'm just consulting my questions here. All right, let's get into your statements. Yesterday I was given a statement bearing the date the 18th of June 2020, which is a statement that was commissioned, which was signed by you, and it has been discovered to the defense. Do you agree?
Discovered, I don't
It was
understand.
disclosed to us. We were given the copy of your statement or of your affidavit.
I agree.
Ngiyavuma ukuthi ninikwe istatement sami izolo esange 18 ka June 2020.
You must correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm vivid that I'm right. You said immediately after the completion of the pointing out, on the 5th of June, you gave that form to Mr. Mngmezulu.
That's true.
Ngishilo ke ukuthi mase siqeda ke ngayo i-pointing out ngase ke i-form lenginikeza uMkhana ngazo i-5 ka June.
13 days after, you made a statement or an affidavit, if I may put it that way, an affidavit declaring what transpired on the 5th of June 2020. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Kwase kuthi ke amalanga u13 emuva kwalokho ngenza ke istatement engichaza lokho kwenzeka ngalelo langa.
And it's your evidence. You correct me if I'm wrong. You did not make a copy for yourself before you left Albertine Police Station. Do you
That's
agree?
correct.
Kuyiqinisa nokuthi ngaphambi kokuthi ngihambe ke eAlbertine Police Station angizange ngizenzele icopy mina.
At that time, the contents of the pro forma were still vivid in your mind. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Ngaleso sikhathi leso ke lokho okwakuku performa ke kwakusekhona emqondweni wami.
What actually necessitated you to make a statement on the 18th? Did you realize that you made a mistake, or what actually necessitated you to make such a statement on the 18th?
My Lord, on all confessions and pointing outs that I have done, I've always submitted a statement.
Kona konke ke engikwenzileke ngaphambili noma ukuvula isifuba ke i-confession noma ke ukukhomba ngaphambilini i-statement ngiyasenza.
Thank you. Yes, a statement is made, and at that time, you were not making a cross-reference from any document when you're making a statement.
Yes.
Is that so?
Nokuthi ke ngesikhathi ngisenza ke ayikho i-document eyayiphambi kwami ke engangithatha kuyona.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
What was read to you by counsel for accused number 4, Mr. Mngmezulu, paragraph 3, it related to Baloyi, who handed over Mr. Sbia to you. You still remember that?
That's correct. I remember that.
Ngiyakhumbula ke ngifundelwa ngo Sergeant Baloyi noma ke okwakwenziwa uSergeant Baloyi.
So that statement was, sorry my lord, my lord, I beg leave to ask the court to adjourn for a tea break.
Why do you understand? I just gave you an indulgence.
Oh.
Because you cross-examined, you finished.
Yes.
He cross-examined and finished.
All right.
So please, just
I
finish.
thought maybe my lord the
No,
time
no, no,
is
I can
right.
sit
I
without
can
tea.
proceed.
Yes,
I can.
please.
I was just asking. Let's just proceed. Mr. Baloyi handed over the suspect to you. Handed Mr. Sbia to you, according to your statement of the 18th.
But I've explained that he refused to hand him in because he did not want to sign for him.
Bese ngichazile ke ukuthi uBaloyi wanqaba ke ukuthi amdlulisele ngoba kwangena umuntu owayefuna ukuthi amsayindele.
But can we reread that paragraph? Because you are now deviating from
My
that
Lord,
paragraph.
my statement, I read it yesterday, and I explained also during my evidence in chief about what happened on that day.
Ngisifundile ke istatement sami izolo ngase ngichaza ukuthi kwenzekani ngaleli langa. Yes.
Is it prejudicial if you can reread that paragraph? Paragraph 3 of your statement.
It is not.
Yes, please.
On Friday 2020-0605 at about 11:30 I arrived at Alberton Police Station and was afforded an office number 31 to use. At about 12 o'clock, Sergeant Baloyi from Alberton Police Station brought in a handcuffed person who identified himself as Mngmezulu Stemba Sibiya.
Thank you.
Lana ke kuthi ke ngelesihlanu nge5 sika June 2020 ngo11:30 ngase ngifike Alberton Police Station ngase nginikeza ioffice u31 ukuthi ngiyisebenzise ngo12 uSergeant Baloyi wase Alberton wase eletha ke umlisa ke ofakwe ozankosi owayichaza ke ngokuthi uMngmezulu Stemba Sibiya.
And I'm not talking about signing. I'm talking about handing over.
Yes.
Which is contrary to the evidence that you gave to me to say a police officer opened the cells for you. Did I ask you whether were you given the keys to open the cells and gain access to Sibiya? You said they opened for you.
Because
It's
they
refused so let me just
to
put
levy.
it straight.
Okay.
May I just put it straight?
Okay.
What you told this court under that cross-examination is contrary to what you are reading from that statement.
My Lord,
Do you agree?
I do not agree.
Angivumi ke ukuthi lokhu eniqeda ukufunda lana manje kuyaphikisana nalokhu mina ke engikushilo ke lana ukuthi kwaba yibona ke abangivulela.
I'll leave it for argument. Let's get into the into the occurrence book. I think it's under GT.
Yes.
And that's where you confirmed your signature.
Yes.
Who was writing there?
The sergeant of the who was in charge of the CSC.
Lana ke owayebhala lana ke kule ncwadi ke uthi occurrence book uSergeant ke okuyena owayephethe ke lapha eCSC.
In your presence,
No.
Akabhalanga ngikhona.
you are a peace officer, mind you. Justice of peace. This statement or whatever that is written there is not written in your presence.
It's not a statement, it's an entry.
That entry, whatever you may call it, an entry, whatever, but it was not written in your presence.
Yes.
Lokho okubhalwe lana akubhalwanga ngikhona.
It has not been communicated with you verbally before it was reduced into writing.
No.
Akukhulunywanga nami ngaphambi kokuthi kubhalwe phansi.
Are we not talking at cross purposes? As I understand that occurrence book, it records all the prisoners. Is that so?
That's true.
It records all the prisoners who are arrested and put incarcerated in the cells. That's what it is in the occurrence book.
That's correct, my lord.
That's it.
The relevance of the signature in
So
the,
in other words, it can't have been written in the presence of this witness.
the relevance of the signature.
Let me, you can continue.
Yes, the relevance of that signature. If it was written by the officer in the CSC, what was the relevance of your signature in that?
It was to confirm that I took
Thank you.
Ukusayinda kwami ke manje uqinisekisa ke ukuthi ngathatha
prisoner.
ngasithatha isiboshwa.
You took the suspect and you endorsed or appended your signature.
That's true.
Ngamthatha ke noma ngasithatha isiboshwa ngase ngisayinda ke.
Practically, you were not supposed to, before you sign, you were not supposed to go through the contents of that entry. As a justice of peace, please be honest to this court. You have an experience of 36 years as a police officer.
Yes.
Were you not supposed to read before you append a signature?
My Lord, I have already explained what was the reasons why there was in
May I-
and out of that. So for me to sign for this person and go and do my job was the easiest thing to do.
Bese ngichazile ke ngaphambilini ukuthi kwakwenzekani ke ukuthi la kungafuni ukusayindela. Manje ke ukuthi ngisayinde nje ngimthathe ngihambe ngekhaya naye officeini kwakuyona into ilula ke ukuthi ngiyenze.
I've seen. That's the way you're running away from a question. And for the fact that you appended a signature without satisfying yourself or without reading that entry, was it a human error?
It wasn't a human error.
It wasn't a human error.
Yes, I signed for the suspect.
Kwakungasiyona-ke iphutha ukuthi ngisayinde ngingabhekile ngingafundile laphayana mina ngangisayindela umsolwa.
The last question. The last question. It deals with when someone, because you've been asked this question by my colleagues, it relates to a situation where somebody alleges that he was assaulted, tortured, and choked. Do you understand?
Yes.
So, if this allegation is made, despite being proven in court, whether it's true or not, but you can't rule the possibility of its existence, do you agree?
Yes, I agree.
Thank you.
Ngiyavuma ukuthi uma umuntu ke elethe insolo ke zokuthi ke ushayiwe ke ukuthi ke enkantolo izokuvuma lokho noma engakuvumi angikwazi mina ukuphikisa ngithi cha kwenzekile lokho noma akwenzekanga.
The reason why I'm asking this, if your answer was no, I was going to refer, but I'm still going to refer you to that. Mthokozi Sitwala, he gave evidence before this court.
Who's that?
Mthokozi Sitwala.
He doesn't know him. Tell him the accused number.
My lord,
I mean the witness. When did he give evidence?
May I-
Wait, he wasn't present. So tell him the circumstances.
my lord, I beg leave to address the court in this way.
Okay.
I was engaged for the purpose of a trial within a trial. So I was not privy to the previous proceedings, but I was privileged to watch the YouTube in order to follow what was happening in this court.
YouTube is not the court, sir.
No.
Please.
The information that I have.
Yeah, but it's not.
All right.
It's not information in this court.
May I rephrase the question? Your Worship? I don't want to enter into a dialogue with the court, madam. I just want to maintain the decorum.
Yeah, fine.
Say, are you aware that there was a witness who gave testimony to this court about the assault? His name is Mthokozi Sitwala. Are you aware of that?
I'm not.
Anginazi sir.
Yes.
You know,
Mr.
obviously we're busy with a trial within a trial. You can't really, we only confine to,
Yeah, what's the case state? This is.
to what happens in the trial within a trial. You can't really refer to what happened to the evidence in the main
You're
trial.
right. State versus Lada,
Yes.
1997. A
Court
trial within a
cases.
trial is compartmentalized.
May I withdraw my question?
Yeah, no, let's repeat the law because maybe some of us don't know it. What is discussed outside the perimeters of the trial, the real trial, has no operation inside a trial within a trial. That's why I was saying he doesn't even know Mtitugizi.
Court pleases, Your Worship.
Okay.
My lord, sorry. My lord, may I conclude my
Yes, you can.
cross-examination?
Yes.
Court pleases.
You know what, Mr. Gomez?
My lord.
Mngmezulu, I want to show you. Maybe you say, this lawyer, this judge is interfering. This is the occurrence book, register, okay?
Yes, my lord.
It has here number 316, prisoner. It says no injuries. Number 317, prisoner. Suspect loaded in for pointing out. Number 318, suspect taken by Lieutenant Colin Kadere. 319, exhibits handed to Sergeant Miami. 325, suspect taken from pointing out. 317. So in other words, he couldn't have written it. That's why I was remarking that. Okay.
Court pleases, my lord. Thank you very much.
Any re-examination, sir?
As the court pleases, my lord. Now, counsel for accused accused number 1 and 2, put it to that the accused, with reference to accused number 1, Mr. Sibia, was transported from Villeria police station to Fosslores police station, where he was assaulted, tortured, choked with a plastic bag on his face, and that after he was assaulted at Fosslores police station, he was then taken to Alberton police station. Now, yesterday, exhibit KK, the extract of the occurrence book of Alberton police station was handed in as an exhibit. Now, counsel for accused number 4 only made reference to entry number 318 at 12:24. Can you just put the contents of entry number 317 at 317?
Yes.
Yes. And the time and the entry.
The time is 12 o'clock. Suspect handed in for pointing out by Sergeant Mohane of National Cold Cases Investigation Unit. Muzi Stemba Sibia on case 636 of 10/2014, murder, Fosslores, free from visible injuries.
Lana ke kubhalwe ku 317 isikhathi kwaku 12 ukuthi ke umsolo wase endluliselwa ke noma ke elethwa ke ukuthi ayokwenza ke pointing out uyena uSergeant Mohane we National Cold Case Investigation Unit, Muzi Stemba Sibia u case 636 10/2014 iqala ke lokubulala eFosslores, futhi ke akukho amanqaba noma ke ukulimala okubonakalayo.
Entry number 318 has already been put in record. Can you put entry 325 on record? Next page.
325 at 14:16. Suspect back from pointing out Muzi Stemba Sibia, SAP 1432 of 6/2020, correctly received, free from injuries.
Bese kuthi ke ngo entry u 325 yena ke isikhathi u 1416 umsolo wake uyabuyiswa ke manje noma uyabuya ke ukuyokhomba noma ke ku pointing out Muzi Stemba Sibia SAP 14 number u 3206 ka 2020, futhi ke wamukelwa ke kahle akukho ukulimala.
Yes, and the last entry 326.
The suspect transferred to
The time first.
326 is 1428. Suspect transferred to Villeria SAPS, Muzi Stemba Sibia SAP 1432, 30 of 6/2020. It's 32 of 6/2020.
Bese kuthi ke u 326 yena ke isikhathi u 1428 umsolo wake manje usebuyiselwa ke eVilleria kumaphoyisa akhona uMuzi Stemba Sibia SAP 1432 06 2020.
Counsel for accused number 1 and 2 put it to you that the accused will deny that he requested the driver to take him to the entrance of Fosslores from the police station. It was put to you that he doesn't even know that particular place. He only saw the hostel at Fosslores. He once lived there. Your answer was, I didn't even know the points which he pointed out. Now the question is, how many points did the accused point out? Accused number 1.
He pointed 2, my lord.
Lana ke umshushishi amfundela ke bekushiwo ke ummeli kaMsolo oqala nowesibili izolo ke ukuthi awayengayazi ke le ndawo nanjengoba wena ke uthi wathi akayoni anyombeka ke kwi entrance yase Fosslores, yena ke indawo awayeyazi lapho ke kwakuyi hostel yase Fosslores. Manje ke zingaki ke indawo awayikhomba lapha futhi hostel leyo awayehlala kuyona, uthi ke mephendula ke ama point noma indawo ayikhomba zimbili.
And the second point, did anyone force him to point out that point?
No, my lord.
akekho umuntu owamphoqa ukuthi akhombe.
It was also in cross-examination by counsel for accused number 5. The issue of you signing out the accused was raised with you, and you indicated that one Sergeant Baloyi refused to sign out the accused.
That's true, madam.
Ngishilo ke ukuthi uBaloyi ke wayengafunike noma kazange avumeke ukuthi ke amsayinele umsolo.
This was also raised in cross-examination by counsel for accused number 1 and 2. Now, you mentioned that the cell wherein you found the accused was next to the client service center. Is that correct?
That's true, madam.
Ngishilo ke nokuthi nesele lesi awayekusona ke siseduze ke nala ndawo ababizwa ngokuthi ke iCSC.
Now, this Sergeant Baloyi that you referred to, was he attached to the client service center, or was he responsible for the cells, prisoners at the cells?
He was in the client service center, madam.
uBaloyi yena ke wayelapho ke eCSC magama la ekusizwa khona ke umphakathi.
Was there anyone who was in charge of that cell, or was it personnel at the client service center?
It's the personnel at the client service center.
Akekho ke umuntu wayelapho ke kusel kodwa yilabo abalaphayana ke ngaphambili la ekusizwa khona umphakathi.
You were also asked extensively by almost all counsel regarding your experience.
That's true.
Can you tell the court, when did you become a commissioned officer?
My lord, I became a commissioned officer in 2003.
Ukuthi ke ngibeke lesi sikhundla ke salo kubizwa ngokuthi officer ke commissioned umqale ngo-2003.
Now, except for pointings out that you made, the number of pointings out that you mentioned, did you conduct any confessions?
Yes, I've done a lot of confessions.
Ama confessions wona ke maningi ke esengwenzile.
More or less how many?
It's more than 10, my lord.
Angaphezu kuka 10.
You also testified in cross-examination by counsel that regarding your experience that you were attached to murder and robbery in the Val range.
That's true, my lord.
Shilo nokuthi ke ngangikuyona ke kwi-murder and robbery eVal range.
For a period of about 3 years.
That's correct, my lord.
Isikhathi singaminyaka emithathu.
So while you were attached to the Val range murder and robbery, did you assist with pointings out, confessions?
I did, my lord. I drove at some point while one officer was doing pointing out, and I also transported prisoners who were taken in to a magistrate or a commissioned officer for confession.
Ngikathi ke ngikhona ke lapho eVal range ke ngaleso sikhathi leminyaka emithathu ke ama confessions ama pointing out ngwenzile ngesinye isikhathi ngibe umshayeli ke la umsola eyokwenza pointing out noma mhlambe ke ngithathe umsola ngimuseke ngaphambi kwemantshi.
As an interpreter, did you assist in that capacity?
Yes, I have several times assisted as an interpreter.
Kumahlandla amaningi ke ngiyengalekelela nanjengotolika.
You were asked by counsel for accused number 4 what the seating arrangement was in the office wherein you conducted the interview with accused number 1. Your answer was you were sitting and Mr. Sibia was on your right. No, I'm sorry, that Mr. Sibia was on your left. You were on his right. As the table was small, you said you went through the notes on pointings out and why you were there. Can you just perhaps clarify, when you say you went through the notes, what are you referring to?
That was the introduction phase, and where I asked questions And he responded by giving his full names, place, his gender, address, and age.
Nanjengoba sasihleli phansi ke ngishilo ukuthi Sibiya ke waye ku left wami mina ke ngaku right wakhe ke ila esesiqala khona ke manje ngeform ngicela ke imininingwane yakhe nginikeza ke igama lakhe nala ahlala khona kanye futhi neminyaka yakhe.
Thank you, Malord. That would be all the aspects.
Okay, thank you, sir. Colonel, I'm interested in the ERT police. What did you call them?
EMPD.
EMPD.
Yes.
When was the first time you saw them?
In the CSC, my lord, the church office is so
Yeah.
small, so they were standing just almost at the door of the cells.
Lama EMPD ke ngawabona ke e-church office ngoba ke incane ke i-church ngathi babemi nje eminyango ke wayo amasel.
And that is before you signed out Mr. Sibiya.
That's correct, my lord.
Kwakungaphambi kokuthi ngiyomkhipha ke ngimsayindele out Mr. Sibiya.
When you signed out Mr. Sibiya and you were working with him to room 31, you say 30?
31, my lord.
31. Did Mr. Sibiya actually see those police?
On our way to
Yes,
no,
to your office.
I don't think so, man.
You don't think so?
Angicabanga ukuthi ke Mr. Sibiya wawabona ke lawo maphoyisa uma ngiphuma naye ke siya kulelo office lelo.
Right. Now at the scene, okay, of the pointing out, you say there were what police?
There was only that Metropolis
About how many?
marked car. There were 2 cars.
2 cars, you said. 2 cars.
Yes,
There were
ma'am.
4, you say 2.
Yes.
Right.
Babe u4 ke bona ke lapha ke scene behamba ngeimoto ezimbili kwakuyibona nje ababe lapha.
Could Mr. Sibiya see them?
Because they was not very far, my lord, you could have seen them. Because they were in the vicinity, but not in the distance that he could not see them.
Babe ngekho ke ibanga ke la wongathi khona ka ngeke angeze ababoneke babe khona ke nje kuleyo ndawo.
Were they in uniform?
They were in uniform, my lord.
Right.
Babe gqoke ke
And the
impahla
police vehicles,
zomsebenzi.
the 2 police vehicles, were they marked?
It was marked vehicles, my lord.
Right.
Nale moto babehamba ngazo kwakuyimoto ke
At any stage,
ebhaliwe.
Mr. Sibiya said to you, those are the people who assaulted me.
At no stage has he ever mentioned
Didn't make
any
that
assault to
allegation.
me. Yes.
Those are the people who threatened me, who forced me, who choked me, who assaulted me.
No, my lord.
They didn't make those allegations.
Akukho ke la ashilo ke khona abakhombe athi labayana yilaba ke bangifaka iTube abang assaulta ababengisabisa.
So those police in that two vehicles, they accompanied you again towards the police station.
That's correct, my lord.
Mase sibuyela futhi ke muva e-police station baphinde ke bahamba nathi.
And at the police station, did they join you when you were booking in, Mr. Sibiya?
No, my lord.
Where were they at that stage?
They were outside, even the yard, at the parking space.
Uma sengimbuyisela ke abazange bangene ke babe ngaphandle la kuphaka khona imoto.
But when they followed you from the pointing space, arena,
Yes, my lord.
and accompanied you towards the police station,
Yes.
were they close to you at the back?
No,
But
my lord.
Guarding you, where were they?
They were at the back, almost 3-4 cars in between. That distance.
Babe silandela ke uma sesibuyela khona ke e-police station emuva ke pointing out kodwa ke kubanga longathi ke kwangaba neimoto eziwu3 eziwu4 phakathi kwethu.
Okay. Any questions arising?
There's only one question. My lord, it relates to Mr. Colonel Khatebe.
Hello?
Sorry? Arising from the bench questions.
Yes, arising from.
It relates to the evidence that you gave to say when Mr. Sibiya was taken out of the cell, you said those Metropolis were not in the vicinity, were not in that CSC office.
I never said that.
When he was taken out of the cell,
By myself.
by yourself, was it by
I
yourself?
said when I entered the CSC,
The
there were
Metropolis were there.
Metropolis people there.
Yes,
And I made arrangement and the sergeant came to open for me.
that's correct.
And I took Mr. Sibiya.
Yes,
Those people walked out.
They
Totally.
walked out.
Yes.
So in,
Engikushoyo ke ukuthi mina ke mangiyongena ke la mangena lapha e-charge office babe khona ke laba be-EMPD ipolice lazongivulela ke uma sengiphuma ke labo bantu labo baphuma.
my question is, when he was inside, before you took him out, was he in a position to see if there were EMPD officers outside, Mr. Sbiya? Was he in that position to see?
That they were outside where?
Next to the cell.
Yes, you could see, you can see that where he's sitting in the cell. These people are here, here's the CSC. So it's almost in one space.
Thank you.
No,
Yes.
la awaye khona ke ngaphakathi ke wayibabona ke ngoba ungathi nje ispace nje esisodwa.
Yes, Mr. Mngmezulu. Mr. Mngmezulu.
No questions, my lord. Thank you.
Mr. Mshwanalo.
Thank you, my lord. I have no further questions.
Okay. Yeah. Colonel, thank you ever so much. I'm sure you'll be back here, maybe. I don't know.
Thank you, my lord. May I be excused?
Yes, you're
Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Baloyi. Is that the break now?
As a court, please, my lord. The state will call the next witness. It's Sergeant Mapakela.
What's your time now?
It's 11:33.
Okay, let's take a break for 15 minutes.
Morning.